Greetings and welcome to AlonzoBash Podcast. I'm your host, AlonzoBash, and today's special episode, man. I'm so excited and grateful and thankful at the same time to be joined by this beautiful young lady, Ms. Latoya McBean Pompy. First and foremost, congratulations on being named Best Lawyers to Watch 2026. That's a major accomplishment, and for all the works you're doing currently in the community. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Alonzo. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm excited as well to be having this discussion with you.
Thank you so much. All right, so before we get started, I want to get into your backstory really quickly. I will give you opportunity to kind of let folks know who you are, a little bit about the backstory and how you got into law and all these things, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so I'm Latoya McBean Pompy, an immigration attorney, as well as the CEO and founder of McBean Law. We're a full-service immigration law firm. We do everything from visas to green cards to removal defense and now federal litigation, which we'll talk about a little bit later about what we're working on a bigger scale to help more people. But essentially, we work with people all across the United States and in many different countries as well, like Jamaica, countries in Asia and Africa, to help to bring people to the United States who are having problems coming here. Some of you might also know me maybe through YouTube, through McBean Immigration TV, or on social media, where I share a lot of information almost on a daily basis to keep the community and others informed about what's really going on with immigration.
Yes. Well, we live in a very critical time, and so much to talk about. So let's get into it. All right. So
I forgot to mention I'm Jamaican born. You did ask about the backstory. The backstory is I came to the United States when I was 6 years old and grew up in Brooklyn, New York, raised by a single mom, a very strong, hardworking Jamaican woman who was raising 3 kids on her own. And I went to New York City public schools. And later, eventually found my way to law school and started out doing business litigation and then municipal law in Michigan, and then came back to New York and founded McBean Law, and did a lot of different things also over the years on Capitol Hill, where I worked for a few years, as well in the House of Representatives.
Wow. Well, you know what? Thank you so much. I'm so focused on a list of questions that I have to ask.
Yeah, let's get into it. I'm eager to answer those questions.
I'm very in depth when I'm doing interviews, but for some reason, and that's the thing, I usually don't write down questions. So maybe that's what kind of threw me off my little rhythm, but I want to make sure we touch base on some of the critical topics that's taking place currently in the immigration system. So let's start with, thank you so much. Let's start with the lawsuit that I guess I want some information on this. The LIF, lawsuit litigation, immigration for freedom today. Can I elaborate a little bit on what is that and how that came about and how people could participate in that lawsuit?
Oh, absolutely. So it came about from meeting with a lot of different new clients who are worried and concerned about how the government's new policy to stop processing their cases is really impacting them. A lot of people are hurting. And what's really going on is that on January 1st, USCIS, which is the agency that processes immigration applications, made an arbitrary decision to stop the process for individuals from 39 countries, including Haiti, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, many African countries, of course, and including other countries like Venezuela and Afghanistan, because the agency said, well, these are travel ban countries. According to various presidential proclamations, these people are restricted from coming to the United States. And as an agency, we're going to stop processing their citizenship application, their green card process, their family petition process, their work permits. And it's hurting a lot of people who are caught up in something that they shouldn't be caught up in. These are people here in the United States taxpayers as well, people who are just here working and living their life. And for the government to do something like this to them, it's really painful. And so we think it's wrong and it's unlawful. And so at McBean Law, we started a new federal litigation practice called LIF, Litigated Immigration for Freedom Today, whereby we've launched a multi-plaintiff lawsuit, giving people an opportunity to join our lawsuit because there's strength in numbers, to say to the government, this is wrong. We're not going to put up with this. Enough is enough. This is hurting us. And we're essentially going to demand that the government process these applications and allow people to get green cards, work permits, and citizenship. So that's what we're up to. We're suing USCIS as a group.
Yes. And so for someone to participate in this lawsuit, they have to be, I guess, attached I guess have to be a citizen of one of those 39 countries.
Exactly. They have to be a national of one of those 39 countries. They also have to be physically here in the United States. And then thirdly, they have to have a case pending at USCIS that they're waiting on a decision for. And they can't be attached to another lawsuit that's similar to this one. So if they meet all of those 4 criteria, they could go on our website online. It's a very easy process. And fill out the form, submit their payment to join, and then they'll be part of it. People have already started joining.
Okay. Now, this is a trick question a lot of people might be confused. Well, I'm confused about, and maybe you could help clarify this. So you mentioned 39 countries. There's also 75 countries that, let me check my notes right here. I want to mess it up. So what's the difference between the 75 countries with the visa pause and the 39 countries that has, I guess, a pause altogether?
Sure. And we're going to go after the 75 country policy very soon next as well, with respect to a lawsuit. But the difference is this: the 75 it does include the 39 as well. Most of the 39 are also part of it, but it also includes countries that were newly added to the government's list, whatever that list is, some weird list that they came up with that includes countries like Jamaica. A number of Caribbean countries are on this list. More African countries, Antigua is on it. More African countries are on this list. And what this says is that the US embassies in these 75 countries cannot issue an immigrant visa to the applicant during this time. There's a pause on issuing the visa at the US embassies for all of these 75 countries. Whereas the 39 countries, those are specifically travel ban countries that are fully restricted or partially restricted from entry into the United States. And USCIS has said, well, we're going to take that group of 39 and we're going to stop processing their application. We're not going to issue a decision and give them their relief during this indefinite pause. Whereas the 75 now, the reason they've paused issuing those immigrant visas is because they're saying, we don't know if these people are going to come to America and burden the taxpayers by tapping into the welfare system. They could likely become a public charge. Well, my problem with that is there's already a process in place to determine whether these people are going to be a public charge or not, right? For instance, if your wife is a US citizen and she's sponsoring you, well, she has to prove her income to show that she can take care of you here in the United States. So that system already exists. Now they're adding a new layer to weed out more people, I think. And so they've paused the issuance of immigrant visas for these 75 countries based on that issue.
Okay. And the deadline for folks to participate in this is February the 8th, which is next Sunday. Am I correct?
That's correct. For the 39
The 30.
country, for the 39, we will be launching a lawsuit targeting those who are hurting based on the 75 country pause as well. So stay tuned for more information on that.
Okay. Wow. So much questions. All right. So is it safe for someone to apply for the citizenship? That's one part of the question. Number two, what is something that someone may have on their record that they may is wise to seek legal counsel before they apply for their citizenship?
Very good question. So I still maintain that now is a good time for citizenship, despite all of the craziness that we're seeing in the system. And I say it's a good time to apply because if you're eligible for it, you want to free yourself from all of this craziness and the worry and the pain and anxiety that a lot of people are currently going through. So obviously speak with a professional to assess the background to see whether you should go forward or not. But for others, there are times when I do tell people, you know what, we cannot file your case. We can't work with you now for citizenship because you have, let's say, a very serious theft offense on your record, right? Like even credit card fraud is a big problem for immigration, and people can be deported for those types of issues. Or if someone comes to me and they say, oh, I have these marijuana possession conviction or charges, 1990s or early 2000s, I would say hold off on citizenship right now. And so anyone with a serious criminal record, I think citizenship should not be in your mind right now.
Okay.
Even if it's a minor one too, Alonzo, like let's say for instance, and I don't mean to undermine it, saying this is a minor one, but I think some people think sometimes when they have a little argument at home with their partner and the police comes out and the partner is arrested, that and then they later drop those charges, they think, oh, that's a minor kind of domestic dispute type of thing. But surprisingly, what folks don't seem to understand is that even those little minor arguments and incidences or roommate disputes and all of that can be a big problem for immigration. And sometimes it could even lead to people being dragged into deportation proceedings because they have a domestic violence misdemeanor. Now it could be it's just a misdemeanor, Alonzo, misdemeanor could get that person deported. So people need to consider these things before they apply for citizenship.
Wow. It's a lot to take in. All right. So we live in a time, sad but it's true, ICE is very active in the community. What are some things that folks can do, whether you have documentation or you don't?
What can folks do? Well,
let's say you're approached by ICE. What's your rights? Maybe I should put it that way. What's your rights if you're approached by ICE?
Well, you certainly don't have to answer any question about your citizenship status. Like we've seen the videos, right, where they approach someone in a parking lot of Home Depot or Walmart and ask, are you from here? Right? You don't have to answer that type of question. Where were you born? You don't have to answer that. So remember your right to remain silent. Everyone has that right here in the United States, regardless of their citizenship status. Also, you don't have to show them, if you're a green card holder, absolutely say, I'm a resident. I have my green card with me. It's fine for you to tell them this, and it's fine for you to show them your green card because by law, you're supposed to carry it with you, actually. But most everyone else who is not a resident or a citizen should just remain silent and you don't have to answer the questions. But certainly you cooperate with any attempts that they are making to arrest you. So for instance, yes, you have the power to keep your mouth shut and not say anything about your status. But if they then reach over now to detain you, you should not resist. Do not resist. Because they are highly motivated, as you see, as we all see, right? To take things to the next level. So don't resist the arrest.
Okay. So you mentioned something that I guess I should know, but it's, for some reason I don't think most of us in the immigrant community do this. Actually, walk with a green card on their person at all times. You say that by law that's required?
Yeah, by law, that is required. And I think forever now, we got away with not having to do that, right? It was no big deal. No, most people don't walk with the green card because they think, well, I don't want to lose it, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
God forbid, I don't, right? But truly by law, you're obligated to do two things, green card holders. You're obligated to carry that green card. And certainly you're obligated to tell the government where you've moved to each time you move. There's a requirement that you update your address with the government. So those are the two big responsibilities that green card holders have.
Okay. All right. So I want to talk about folks that's you mentioned this on your IG, which is very active. You talk about the different topics and so forth. Filing, let's see, I got it here written down. This is why I don't run on questions. Filing form I-751 with your spouse, the requirements. So pretty much, I'm assuming a couple or American spouse or American, a couple where one person is an immigrant. Right, that's what it is, right? The 751, the requirements that the federal government is looking for those individuals. Because I understand initially it's a 2-year green card before they can go back and get another or extend. How does that work?
Yeah, and I'm so glad you're bringing this topic up because it does met a lot of people in trouble if they don't get it right,
Yeah.
So if let's say for instance you're married to a US citizen and your case is approved for the green card and you guys have been married for less than 2 years at that time of approval, well, the government is only going to give you a 2-year green card. And then at the end of that 2-year period, you're obligated to do the whole process again for the 10-year green card.
Okay.
So what happens with a lot of people is sometimes they have relationship problems along the way. And then the US citizen spouse might not want to continue. Or, the marriage deteriorates, things fall apart, there's drama, things happen, it's life, right? And so it leaves a person thinking, well, what am I going to do next? How am I going to really be stable? And sometimes people have their children attached to these process too. Their children's green card is tied up with all of this. So I like to talk about this process a lot because it's so complicated and people who don't get it right, they are placed in deportation and removal. So I try to do a lot of campaigns to educate people about this process. It's called the removal of conditions process.
Okay. So let's talk about this again. So or some more, I should say. So if a couple is together, but they've been together more than 2 years, does the same apply, or is it like a time frame?
Right. So if they have been married for more than 2 years now, at the time when the government approves the green card, then they will get a 10-year green card. Big difference. They will get a 10-year. So some couples wait to file their case because they want to make sure that by the time the government approves it, we've been married longer than 2 years. So it's just a one-shot deal. I'll get that 10-year green card and that's that. And then I could apply for citizenship soon thereafter.
Okay. All right. So what's the difference between that and, don't laugh at me, I'm trying to remember the code, but you see the show, the 90-Day Fiance, that visa.
Yeah.
That visa.
It's called the K1 visa.
There you go. All right. So what's the difference between the K1 visa and that particular visa, the 751 visa?
So the K1, the big difference is that K1 is for fiance. You're not yet legally married, right? So you're a US citizen and you have a foreign fiance, and you'd like to bring that person here sooner rather than later, of course, faster, I should say. Well, the K1 process is the way to go. And once that fiance comes here, then that person will apply for the green card through you, US citizen spouse. They're obligated to get married within the first 90 days of that person being here in the United States and then file for the green card.
Okay. What about sponsorship? Is that I guess I'm going back to the well, I guess that wouldn't work for the 75 countries and the 39, but these you have company that sponsor employees, temporary workers, so to speak, that comes to the US. Has there been any changes in that particular segment as well?
Well, right. And, we do get a lot of people from the Caribbean who come up on those temporary work visas, like the H-2B visa, and they do seasonal jobs like in Maine or Florida at a hotel or golf clubs and such. There hasn't been any changes. The government is actually trying to bring in more of those types of workers, believe it or not, which is good because we really do need it. We have a worker shortage here in the United States.
Okay. All right. If somebody's case has been denied for whatever reasons, what steps shall an individual take at this point, considering what's taking place right now in the U.S.?
Sure, they should certainly speak with an immigration lawyer about why the case was denied and what it means. For some people, they could pick up and try again, right? They could file another case if they have the green light to do so from a professional. Some people could appeal the decision.
Yeah.
But to appeal that decision, because the government gets it wrong sometimes, right? And so if they got it wrong, or if you have new facts that the government should consider, you could appeal it. And an appeal can work. And we do a lot of those, but you only have 30 days by which to file an appeal. So you would have to act very, very quickly. I think nowadays people are a little discouraged if their case is denied because they're worried that they're going to be placed in removal, which for some people, they are placing them in removal whose cases denied.
Yes.
So it could be very concerning, but don't lose heart because, like I said, some people could appeal the decision, or other people could try again with a stronger case. But certainly get some professional help before you reapply.
Okay. If someone is placed in removal proceedings, what's I know it's not a one size fit all type situation. But I guess what kind of families do? Is there a process once initial removal proceeding has begin? Is not the end or be all? Maybe that's what I'm trying to ask.
Yeah. Well, when a person is placed in removal proceedings, first of all, it doesn't always end very quickly, right? I think some people are worried that, once I get that notice that I have to go to court, immigration court, that they're going to deport me at that first hearing.
Yeah.
And they begin to have a major panic attack, but it doesn't work that way. Yeah. What happens is this: you go to that first hearing and the judge just wants to know, do you have an attorney? Number one, where do you live? What's your address? Because they want to keep track of you. And thirdly, how do you respond to these charges that the government has about you? Like, for instance, you're a citizen of Trinidad. Is that true or not? Yes, it's true. You came to the America on a visitor's visa in 2005. Is that true or not? Yes. And have you overstayed your visa? True or not? Right? And if there's anything additional that they're bringing against you, that's your opportunity to say, yes, these are true or not true, right? Yeah. I deny it or whatever. So or I don't deny it. And then the judge really wants to know, why should she keep you in the United States? What is your form of relief? What will you put in front of the judge that the judge can review, like an application or
Yes.
a process for like asylum or the adjustment of status, that later at a much further in the future hearing date, the final
Yes.
hearing, the judge can have like a mini trial and ask you questions. The government can ask you questions as well about your background and your applications. And then
Mm,
the judge can make a decision about whether to approve your case in court or not. That's really the essentially how it works. And nowadays we're getting those final hearings for the year 2028,
okay.
2029. So it's not a very, very fast process in
Yeah.
court.
Okay. And can folks give references and stuff like that in this case? Can they present those to the court as well?
It depends on what type. Yes, certainly. Of course, if it's a type of case where character is your characters is part of the equation or consideration.
Yes.
Also, if there's hardship that you want to talk about, maybe your child, your U.S. citizen child, is
Yes.
autistic
Mm,
or has psychological or emotional
mm,
problems, sympathetic factors. Maybe
okay.
your parent who's a US citizen or a green card holder has medical problems. You know, those, the hardship to those people will be important in some cases
Yes.
to allow the judge to consider all these different factors and make a decision about the case.
Okay. There's a lot of green card holders that's nervous about traveling. What's your professional opinion or recommendation on that?
Yeah, that green card holders, most of them can travel with no problems, and it's happening every day. They're in and out of the US. So you can come back to America, green card holder, despite the misinformation out there that, oh, I heard after January 1st, green card holders can't return to America. That is not true.
Yeah.
Not true. It's happening even as we're speaking, right? Customs is evaluating people right now. So, I would, but do not travel, green card holder, if you have a criminal record,
Mm,
because it's highly unpredictable how that record will be viewed by
yes.
customs. You could say to yourself, well, I'll just carry my court paperwork to show how it ended. I wasn't convicted, it was dismissed, no problem. Yes, you could do that. You could take that risk.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if you have someone who don't understand some things, who's going to be interviewing you at the, at JFK
Yeah.
or Newark, then they could detain you and make things a little bit harder for you. But
Yes.
certainly you'll be allowed in. Also, green card holder, do not travel if you're in removal. If you're in
Mm,
deportation proceedings and there's a process underway to strip you of your green card, do not leave the United States during this time until
yeah.
your court process has been resolved. Those are my two big travel warnings, the criminal record and if you're in removal.
Okay. How long after an interview, let's say a citizenship interview or asylum interview, does it take to normally get a response back from the federal government once you put your application in and you do the interview and so forth? Like how long the process
Sure.
takes?
It depends on the application because every application has its own processing time.
Mm,
Some applications, like maybe the work permit application, can be processed in a month for
okay.
some people or less than a month, whereas it could take several months for other people. It depends on your category of
Yes.
filing and the type of application. So USCIS has a really good website, and there's a tool on the website that allows you to put in whatever that application number is, and
Yes.
it will tell you how long they're taking to process your application. So it truly depends on the type of case and
Okay.
application.
Okay. All right. The president has issued a gold card. Now, if you can elaborate on
And
what.
by the way, for those who didn't just see my response, I rolled my eyes. I just rolled my eyes when he said gold card.
I'm trying to be professional. All right. So, what is a gold card, and how can one qualify for that, or that's something that someone should take seriously? Maybe that's the best way to phrase the question.
Sure, I think the gold card has been in the news lately because Nicki Minaj
Yeah.
was given one. But essentially, I think the gold card is I think it's a scam, actually. I think that it's a way to get money from foreigners.
Mm,
So the gold card, the way it works is it's telling foreigners that you will have to pay an application fee of $15,000 to apply for a gold card.
mm,
Once the government gets this non-refundable $15,000, you
mm.
fill out some application, then you have to give a gift of $1 million per
Wow.
person, per family member, okay, including children and spouse, $1 million in order to get the gold card, which puts you in a category, whatever the existing category is that you're trying to apply under, it puts you in that category, and then you'll have to wait for a decision,
Mm.
like everyone else.
Yeah.
But there's no guarantee that your case will be approved. Yes, it's a gift. Yes, it's a substantial gift,
Yeah.
but Congress hasn't authorized this,
Mm.
Alonzo, and there's no new categories that were created to allow for this. It's just the process is there's no real regulations yet about this process.
Yeah.
Now, would you invest $1 million in a process that you don't even know if there's no regulations about it? There are no guidelines written about it. There's
Mm.
just nothing.
Yeah.
It's just a promise that, oh, you could get a green card and skip the line,
Yeah.
and maybe one day you could become a citizen. But there's
Mm.
no guidelines. And certainly, I think eventually there will be some lawsuits along the way challenging this gold card process, because there's no transparency. It's a huge risk. People are doing it, though. People are applying, from what I understand. But we have no guidelines about how any of this is going to work. We're not handling this at McBean. We've made the decision. I've made the decision that we're not going to touch it.
Yeah.
We will only work on a process that Congress created.
Mm. Makes sense. Makes sense. I mean, sounds like one of those backdoor alley deals in New York
Yeah.
City in the 90s.
What I would like to know is who is getting this money?
Yeah.
Where is it going to?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, the Department of Commerce
Uh,
is the one coordinating all of this. Where is the money going to? How much have they? There's so much that we just don't know about this. It's just a scam, in my opinion. Very risky.
Yeah. Yeah. Very much so. All right. If someone is looking for an attorney, what are some of the things that folks should look for in a good immigration attorney? Because I mean, you go on social media now, everybody's an attorney, and you have people that's not attorneys. I guess they call them counselors or consultants or what have you. Take us through what folks should look for and what's the requirements for a good attorney in a particular case.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that firstly, you've got to check out their background, go on Google them and see whether they're really a licensed attorney. Check with whatever state bar they say that they are licensed through. So for instance, if the attorney says, well, I'm a New York attorney, well, there's a way that you could just through Google type in attorney search New York, and you'll get the link, and you just put in that person's name and see if they are really licensed. So that's one thing. Check out the credentials. Take 5 minutes to do that. It's not a long process. The second thing that you should look for is their qualifications. Do they handle cases like yours? So for instance, it's not uncommon for an attorney to do multiple types of law, right? You could have an attorney who does immigration. They also do a personal injury, slip and fall cases. They also do criminal defense work. They also do family divorce work. They do like a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. But when you do a lot of different things, you might not have really specialized enough to drill down into your kind of immigration problem, right? So you want to ask an attorney, have you ever handled a situation like what I'm presenting to you? Is this something that you're comfortable with? And that's, to me, is a great question to ask someone and hear what they have to say. If inquire into their background and experience, because every immigration attorney, we're not the same.
Yes.
The kinds of cases that Jane Doe attorney sees is maybe different from the cases that McBean Law sees, which is
Yeah.
different from the cases that another attorney sees. We're all different. We all have different experiences.
I mean, well said, well said. At this point, I think I've went through all my questions, the top questions that I really wanted to ask. So I'm just going to open the floor. If anything you want to add to the question and answer segment.
Yeah, I think it was very well-rounded. We covered a lot of ground, but I just want to end on a more optimistic mode, and to help people to understand that although they're seeing a lot of frightful things
Yes.
with immigration, especially now, Alonzo, what's really breaking news that we might want to address is the fact that Haitians
Yes.
are going to be the next group under attack, because it was recently reported out by MS that ICE is going to be targeting Haitians in Ohio, in Springfield, Ohio, coming this week,
Yes.
as their temporary protected status will be ending. And there are about 12,000 to 15,000 Haitians in that city, in Springfield. So a lot of concern is on the ground there. But when you're hearing things like that, and you're thinking, oh my God, is ICE coming to my neighborhood next? What's going to happen? Don't be too fearful about these things. Get some clarity about your own situation, because when you get the clarity about your own situation,
Yes.
you might be able to realize, oh, I actually don't have much to worry about, because I'm not really a high risk person for them to come after, to knock on my doors, to deport me. I'm not the one really that they're looking for at this time, right? But you've got to size yourself up, have a professional size you up
Yes.
against all that's going on, so that you don't really go crazy and become too fearful. Get information about your own facts,
Yes.
because that's how immigration is. That's where you're going to get some confidence and peace from. And so speak with someone to get some information about your own facts, someone professional, of course, to get information about your situation and not worry too much.
Yes.
If let's say you're in a neighborhood where you hear ISIS roaming around, you see videos on TikTok
Yes.
that they're in your neighborhood, and and you're scared. Well, remember the rights that you have. You don't have to open your door to anyone unless they show you a judicial warrant.
Yes.
But now, Alonzo, we know that ICE is operating on a different unlawful level. They're
Yes.
breaking into people's homes, right? Despite the fact that they don't have a warrant. Well,
Yes.
you have people around you who can record those time. If that happens, have someone record it, so that you could launch a claim down the road, maybe against the DHS. It's hard, though, to win and and get any kind of good settlement. They're not settling. They're not paying out. It's very difficult. And the Supreme Court has given the DHS and immigration broad authority to do a lot of what we're seeing here. And so
Yes.
don't expect that, okay, you could recover money from the government if they break down your door.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, but you could still bring your claim and have an attorney who's aggressive to see what they could do for you. But don't be so fearful.
Yes.
Put yourself put things in perspective, I should say.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't compare your situation to the next person, pretty much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Well, it's only right. This part of the podcast is called 2000 Questions About Me. I'm not going to ask you 2000 questions, obviously.
No. I didn't know about this part before I agreed to be on here. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, it's only right because every guest that comes on the podcast,
Yes.
this part come to the end. We always ask this. We add this little segment. It's a little fun. So yeah, it's only right that we present it to you as well. So 2,000 questions about me. It's based on a book that I brought a couple of years ago. And I'm going to ask you to pick a number from 1 to 2,000. And the number that you pick is going to be the question that's asked out of the book.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome. Okay, so I will pick 1865
Oh, man. That was easy.
to make it easier.
1865. Let's go. Boom, 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 boom. I need to get a Jeopardy song effect. All right, there we go. 1865. At this point, here we go. 1865. 1865. Boom, 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 boom. All right, there we go. All right. What is your favorite personality trait you like about yourself? What is your favorite personality trait you like about yourself?
Okay. I like the fact that I laugh a lot.
Okay.
I laugh a lot.
Mm,
And it's not a nervous laugh. It just comes out of my
yeah.
soul.
Mm,
And when I laugh, it really sets the tone
yeah.
physiologically, emotionally, mentally. It just changes the entire vibe of even the situation in the room and the people I'm with. I
Yeah.
like the fact that there's a joy that is in me, that I think is given by God, but it does something to me, and I think it does something to the people who hear it as well. So
Yeah.
I like the fact that I laugh a lot.
That's a good trait. That's a very good trait. That's a good trait. That's a good trait. Also, you do a live information session on your IG as well. If you could let folks know
Oh
about that.
yes, so sure. So on Mondays, I do host my Freedom Now show on YouTube, McBean Immigration TV, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. I'm live at 1 o'clock Eastern, on Mondays only. So you could catch me there, and I cover the latest immigration news, and then I answer immigration questions. And from time to time, I also share good news stories, experiences that our viewers are having, their success stories, and in addition to our firm's success stories. And it's our hour together. But then sprinkled throughout the week, periodically based on my schedule, I will also go live randomly here and there on social media.
Yes.
And certainly, if there's any breaking news, I try to go live with that information as well on those platforms.
Okay. And how can folks reach out if they need the legal counsel?
Sure, they could go to McBean Law's website, mcbeanlaw.com, or they could call us at 914 898 9488. I'll repeat it, 914 898 9488. Or they could send us an email at info@mcbeanlaw.com.
Well, at this point, man, I want to take time to thank you very, very much for taking time out your busy schedule and really for what you're doing in the community. Like I came across your content, scrolling through social media, and I reached out, and it was, was a breeze, wasn't an issue, wasn't a problem, and I really, really appreciate that. So I'm speaking on behalf of myself and the community. Thank you for all the great works.
Well, thank you so much for putting together some great questions that I think will help a lot of people to get perspective. Thank you for hosting me today. It was fun. And now that question is in my mind. That's such a random, amazing question. Excellent job. Thank you so much. We'll be sharing this broadcast with our audience as well, so that folks will get a chance to get to know you and the good work that you're doing as well.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, attorney Miss McBean Pompy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.